And hello, Marvel fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Zone TV Movie Entertainment with me, your host, Jonathan. Once again, bringing you my thoughts and movie review for the brand new Marvel film, Marvel's The Fantastic Four First Step, starring Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and I keep forgetting the actor's name who plays Ben Grimm, him as well. I apologize. So before I begin, congratulations to everybody at Marvel, Disney for making this film. This movie is very hard to make, obviously, so yeah. And also, this is the first film in Phase 6 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We are finally on Phase 6, folks. We got a lot of projects coming up for Phase 6. Obviously, Fantastic Four is number 1. And it leads up to Secret Wars all the way up to, 2028, I think? 2027? Either way, we're here. So they announced Fantastic Four a couple of years ago, and we were all freaking out. We're like, finally, but can Marvel actually deliver a Fantastic Four that's better than the other 3 that we've gotten? 4 if you count the one that was never, I guess, released. You have to find it on YouTube somewhere. So yeah. So let's talk about it. Okay, so Fantastic Four, in this film, we get to see the Fantastic Four already. The Fantastic Four fans love them. I'm still not buying this whole that this is the 60s universe, whatever they're calling it. I still think it's the 50s, like 50s style, tech meets futuristic tech. So I'm calling it the 50s. So if it's not the 50s, I apologize. But to me, it's the 50s, whatever. So the Fantastic Four, they already got the powers. They already are established. Everybody knows them. They fight monsters and villains all the time. They're heroes, and they're just cruising along. They're a family. They're doing their thing. And then one night they get good news and bad news at the same time. They get good news, the fact that Sue Storm is about to have a baby. She's pregnant with her first child, which is great. Everybody's excited, including the entire world in this movie. So there's that, because they're all celebrities. And then they get a message from this Silver woman that comes out of nowhere, named the Silver Surfer, played by Judy Garden. I probably butchered her last name. Anyway, she's fantastic as the Silver Surfer. I'll get more to that later. She shows up. She's like, "Hey, I'm here to let you guys know my master named Galactus is on his way to devour your world. I'm his herald. I herald him. He's coming to get all of you, and good luck to you." And then she dips. So the Fantastic Four is like, well, we can stay and get ready to fight, or we can go to bring the fight to him. But instead of bringing the fight to them, they go and try to talk to him. See, like, dude, like, what's your problem? Like, why do you want to bother us for? Do we even know who you are? So the Fantastic Four literally go to space to meet Galactus. And then we find out Galactus' real purpose of going towards Earth. He knows about the baby. He wants the baby for himself, because apparently Galactus is kind of sick and tired of eating planets, and he wants the baby to take his power and do it himself. So he can, like, retire. Which, by the way, I don't know why all the Marvel villains just want to do their thing and then retire. Is that like a thing in the Marvel Universe? Anyway, so the Fantastic Four literally got to go back to Earth to try to figure out a way to stop Galactus from not only destroying the planet, but also taking their child. So yeah. Okay. So how does this movie compare to all the other Fantastic Four films? First of all, this movie is way better than I thought it would be, and I thoroughly enjoyed this film a lot. I've been waiting for a Fantastic Four film that was going to be awesome for years. I already kind of have it with The Incredibles, and that's a whole other level. So let's not compare that, but still, they finally nailed it, folks. They finally gave us a Fantastic Four movie that actually makes me feel like this is the true Fantastic Four. First of all, let's talk about the chemistry between the Fantastic Four. Sue, Johnny, Ben, and Reed. They all felt like a real family. Not that the other movies didn't try that. They had their moments, sure, in the other movies, but they weren't exactly, they were missing something. They were like missing that family dynamic element that everybody has. You can really tell that they're all real family. They just live together. You see them have dinner together. There's a scene in the trailer where you see them having dinner when Sue announces that she's pregnant. That's a humble moment. It's like It's like they're getting ready to have Thanksgiving dinner. It's like perfect just to see all of them hanging out, just being them, seeing Johnny and Ben. You know, they're bros, but yet they also pick on each other. So it kind of, you know, balances out. Reed, you know, he can clearly tell he loves Sue, and Sue loves him, and they are in love, and they will always be with each other. They keep each other grounded. And now they got their child, and it's gonna keep them more close together than ever. Sue, like, literally is the true leader of this movie, and she's like the standout in my opinion. I think she really, like, not only did she had a balance being a mother in this movie, pregnant in this movie, the leader of this movie, she had to do pretty much everything, and her power set, oh, perfection. You know, if you look in the comics lore, Sue Storm is no pushover. She's one of the most strongest characters in the Marvel Universe, period. So she's that powerful. Now I'm gonna talk about Johnny. Johnny, you know, is Johnny. Johnny's the, you know, the one who kind of, he's a laid back guy. He has the Human Torch powers, the flame on, and all that good stuff. And you know, honestly, I don't think he even said it in this movie. I think I may have missed it, or he didn't say it. I think he just turned it on. Either way, he was great. You know, he was also, they played him smart, which he's supposed to be smart. He's also, you know, kind of a scientist in his own right. Not as smart as Reed, but he's up there. You know, there's a moment in this movie where he has to solve something, and he does it his own way. He doesn't have to worry about having, you know, Reed get in the way and be like, oh, let me help you solve this. No, I got it. You solve that, I'll solve this. And I love seeing that from Johnny. I think Johnny doing that was kind of cool, but also kind of being that tough guy that he can handle anything character persona that he has, totally worked in this. Ben Grimm, listen, they finally gave us Ben Grimm that he's supposed to be. Ben Grimm's supposed to be like the one that kind of balances everybody out, but also be the strong one. But also he has some feelings, the fact that, you know, he looks the way he looks, but, you know. So he worked. I loved his CG here. There were a couple moments in here that his CG, you know, doesn't really flow right, but that's okay. Heck, the robot was cool. Herbie, I want that robot now. I'm like, yeah, that robot works. And of course, Franklin Richards. Spoiler for the trailers. Franklin's in this movie, folks. Yeah, cute as a button. So yeah, there's that. And there are so many cool Easter eggs in here. I'm gonna spoil one thing if you don't know, because they announced this a couple months ago. Everybody kind of figured this character was gonna be in this movie. The Mole Man. The Mole Man's in this movie, played by Paul Walter Hauser. Yeah, or Stingray for us in Cobra Kai universe. He's in this movie too, so I just wanted to let you guys know about that. So yeah, and Judy Garland, as I'm probably butchering her last name, I apologize. She's fantastic. I love her. I cannot wait to see her in Weapons. Her as Silver Surfer totally worked. Like, I've known the comics they have, there's a female Silver Surfer and the male Silver Surfer. I like both of them. They're very different from each other. But with her showing how powerful the Silver Surfer is supposed to be in this Marvel universe, oh yeah. And if she ends up ever showing up in the main MCU, whew, she's gonna be a problem. Good guys and bad guys. So yeah. So there's that. Sentry beware. But anyway, she was great. I loved all the moments that she was on screen, and the banter we got from her and Johnny totally works. I loved all that. So that was great. Now let's talk about Galactus. They finally gave me a Galactus that actually is Galactus, not some clown in the sky that looks like a swirling tornado coming down from space. Was so stupid. So don't get me into that, please. Anyway, I finally got Galactus right, which now gives me hope for the future of Transformers. Paramount, pay attention. Give me Unicron in this kind of a shape and form, because Galactus was massive. I'm talking huge. I mean, the guy literally looked like he came out of the comic book. You know, Galactus is not the fastest character in the MCU. He's slow in a way. But still, man, insane. The voice was powerful. You can clearly have fear for him. Like, I'm watching him like, oh my god, this guy is creepy. Like, he had like kind of like a voice of Darkseid. If Darkseid was in the main DC universe, and you feel his presence. Yeah, this guy would make Thanos shaking his boots, okay? I'm sorry. I mean, Doctor Doom would just be like, yeah, okay, whatever. But still, you know what I mean? The scale is like, oh, it was great. Oh man, Galactus was cool. They didn't do much in here, but I understand why, because I'm pretty sure they're gonna save it for future projects. So we just got a kind of a glimpse of who he's supposed to be. He did some things in here, it was cool, but it was more of like a sample taste, if you know what I mean. And I love that every moment, and I want more, and I cannot wait to see it. What else? So let's talk about the negatives in here. There are some negatives in here. You know how if you guys have watched me for a couple times now, I like using a train as a metaphor. This train station for the Marvel Universe has become and starting to get needed maintenance problems. They had maintenance problems moving forward, you know. Phase 4 of Marvel really shut down this station badly. A lot of people did not like Phase 4. There were a couple things in there that worked. Obviously, you know, WandaVision, Loki, sure, and everything, you know. And then Phase 5 came in, and we had, you know, Captain Marvel 2, and then, you know, Miss Marvel worked, but, you know, like Deadpool Wolverine worked, but then freaking Captain America 4 didn't work. Thunderbolts worked, you know, it was all back and forth. I can clearly say that this train station so far is working. They finally fixed the train. The train's back on track and it's starting going towards Doomsday and of course towards the final destination with the Secret Wars. So far so good. But man, so let's talk about the negatives about this movie. There were a couple moments in here that, you know, it felt like it was just steady. Not like in a fast pace like how Superman was, where it just goes from the movie starts and I would go into the action, basically no story towards the end. This movie was all story, action, and then it kind of did the whole back and forth thing. So it kind of was a little bumpy ride in my opinion, but the pace was fine. The pace was fine, but it also wasn't fine. It was kind of like steady. You know, it wasn't like a quick thing, and it wasn't kind of like, okay, can you get to the point kind of it was kind of like, I'm trying to explain how to do this. It was kind of like slow but stable condition. You know what I mean? It was kind of like that. So, you know, there was that problem for me, and I just thought like kind of odd that they went that route for it, because obviously they took away, you know, the origin story, which is good because we don't need it. They took away us knowing like how are the Fantastic Four dealing with the fact that they have these powers for this long, you know. I mean, we got to see Sue and, you know, Reed deal with the fact that, oh, is their baby gonna be normal? Is their baby gonna have superpowers? And all of this and then you kind of have to watch it for yourself to find out. But you know, we never got to see how Johnny was feeling about having fire all over him, or Ben being who he is, you know. I kind of wish we would have got that, because the other movies explained it too a little bit, but we never really got emotional deep with those characters in those movies. But here I think he could have really shown us their emotion in a good way that would capture who they are as characters, so that way in the future we know who they are. But what can you do? I feel like the Mole Man character in here was cool to see. Don't get me wrong, I love Paul Walter Hauser. He'll always be Stingray to me. You should have saved him. Or at least had him in the beginning, have him more in the beginning of the film, and take him out, and then set him up for the next film. I felt like his character just shows up, does some things. They're kind of important, but it's like, you really needed him. You couldn't just be like, yeah, we need you. Call him up or something, then be like, yeah, we need you, and then show up at the end and help us out, kind of a thing. And it was just kind of felt like they kind of forcing him into, you know, us seeing, oh look, here comes Mole Man again. He's gonna say something and then disappear, and then come back again, do the thing, you know. So I felt like they could have just did it differently with him, or saved it for the next one, because I would like to see him. He looked great though. His world too looked cool too, so I thought that was fun. Yeah, that's basically it. And there were some moments you know, now I'm thinking about it. I have to go back and think, did Johnny actually say "Flame On"? Because I know in the, you know, if you know in the trailers, they kept teasing, you know, Ben Grimm's most iconic line, you know. So, you know, they kept teasing it. I can't remember if Johnny ever said "Flame On." I must have missed it because I was like in awe of everything I was watching, or they never mentioned it. So either way, so, you know, there's that. Um, I have a positive and negative about this one thing, because the positives is the way this character is, and I hope the negative does not make him change who he is in the next couple movies. And that's Reed Richards. Reed Richards was fantastic. Was, no pun intended, fantastic. I still think his whole stretchy power nonsense kind of annoying. I never liked his stretchy powers, even in the comics. I'm more of a fan of him being smart. Like, the cosmic rays gave him his ability to be even more smarter than he already is. So that's how I always thought. Because in the comics, he has the Council of Reeds, and he helped take out the Hulk and all the good stuff. But in this movie, they made Reed so smart that even he has flaws, and it works in here. And I love seeing that he struggles with certain things in here, or where he's smart enough to figure out how to do one thing that leads into another thing, but then he gets stuck at certain things in the middle. So I like seeing that. It makes him more human. Unlike what they did with Tony Stark, where he just goes like this. Oh, time travel. It's like, wait, how did you figure out time travel that quickly? I don't know. They just gave it to me. Not that I don't love Tony Stark, but come on, really? You're going to figure out time travel like that? It would have taken Reed 2 montages just to figure out how to do time travel. And I'm like, now I get it. Because he invented something in this movie that helps out towards the end. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And he was still struggling with it too. So I'm like, that's how you're supposed to do it. Unlike Vic and Tony Stark, where he just figured out quantum time travel like it was nothing. So, there's that. But I just like seeing Reed being flawed when it comes to being the smartest man alive. And I hope that continues in the MCU, because if he ends up in the main MCU, I don't want him to be the guy who just shows up, is like, I'm the smartest guy here, and then he ends up being smarter than everybody in 5 seconds to figure out something. But yet you had problems in your own universe figuring out how to make a toaster oven dance, but yet here you can make a toaster shoot machine guns. Right, okay. I don't want that. So I hope they don't change Reed. I think Reed was perfect, like how he was in this movie, flawed but genius at the same time, and he worked, and he was worried about his family and all that. I want to see more of that in the main MCU, so hopefully they do not change him. So we'll see. But yeah, and now the post-credit scenes. There are 2. Just letting you know, the middle post-credit scene is the most important one. You gotta watch that one. You don't have to really watch the second one. It's just a funny little montage. I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, that's basically it. Listen, this movie's fun. I enjoy the heck out of it. I love them way more than I like the other Fantastic Four movies. I still like those movies, minus the Fantastic Four stick one. We don't talk about that one because that one's just abomination of all comic book movies. So yeah, that movie makes Batman and Robin look smart. But yeah, this movie's awesome. I had the hell of a fun time with this film. Everybody worked in this movie. I think Vanessa Kirby was my favorite part of the whole thing, because she's just amazing. And the fact that she's actually pregnant in real life kind of balances that whole thing. I was like, that's so cool. I think she's like the first actress to be pregnant on a movie set and her character being pregnant at the same time. Black Widow did that too, but then her character, she got pregnant after she filmed most of Age of Ultron, and then she came back and did her thing. So Vanessa Kirby's the first, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, this movie's a lot of fun. Check it out. Go have fun with this film, because if you guys were worried about Fantastic Four like I was, you can breathe. It's fun. It's, no pun intended again, fantastic. And I had a hell of a time with it. So, leave me a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about. Are you guys looking forward to seeing Fantastic Four First Steps? Are you guys excited to see these new characters into the MCU? Whatever it is, leave me a comment below. Let me know. Also, before I forget, I'm going to do a breakdown of the post-credit scene and the ending on Sunday, and give you my thoughts of what's to come in the future for the Fantastic Four, because there's some things we need to talk about. So leave a comment below, let me know. Stay tuned for more. Thank you very much, and have a good day.